Hey guys, doing a video on programming your AI light via the myAI app. So I get a lot of questions on Facebook, just kind of asking a few of the basics around downloading and different things like that, around adjusting it, building it, adding points, all those different types of things. I'm going to try to cover all that here. There's several topics I'm going to go through and try to hit those basic questions. I have a list of topics here on these two upcoming slides. That way you can kind of see all the topics, and if you want to try to fast forward and jump to just the topic that's relevant to you, you can do that. All right, so here's the list of all the topics I'm going to cover. So I'm going to go through a screen introduction of the main screen, how to update the device, program download, saving a setting, selecting a preset, scheduling in sunrise, sunset, lunar, going through the acclimation mode, adjusting preset points, 2-finger slide time adjust, 2-finger slide intensity adjust, my issue with the 2-finger slide intensity adjust, and how to build a new program from scratch. All right, so let's jump into the first one here, the screen introduction. So we're going to go through just the main screen, main programming screen, and talk about what each of those are. So we have these orange dots here at the bottom. What those are, they are just all the individual programmed points. So as you see, I move from each point to point. It tells you what's been programmed in at that point. And you can move all throughout your program and see what each intensity programming point is. We have the plus button. The plus button, that simply is going to add a point. So if you click on a point in time, right there in the middle, I click the plus button. This screen comes up to add a point. I can put in the programming that I want by adjusting all those intensities. And then when I'm done adjusting to what I want, I will click the done button, and there is my point. So, and then you have the minus button. The minus button deletes a point. So if we go back to that point that I just added, and I have that point there in the middle and I want to get rid of it, I can click the minus button and that point goes away, just like that. Then we have this undo button here. So again, back to that same situation. I just deleted that point. And say I'm like, oh, I didn't want to delete that, I want to bring it back. I can click the undo button and it will come right back. So the next one here is these arrows. There's an arrow pointing to the left, an arrow pointing to the right. And what these arrows do is as you click those arrows, it will jump from programmed point to programmed point in the preset that you have displayed on your screen. So as you see here, I'm clicking the arrow to the left, to the right, and the bar is moving to the left and to the right per my clicks. So then we have this play button. When you have a preset on your screen, if you click the play button, it is going to run through the entire 24-hour series and show you exactly what your light's going to do. So your light would be sitting there, you put your start time, you click that play button, and it's going to run through your entire program. So if my camera was pointed at my tank right now, my light would be going through this scene, so I'd be able to show you what my tank looked like. So this is a good way for you to see what that light's going to look like on your tank. So then we have the delete button here. The delete button is just that. If we were to click the delete button and we click delete, it would delete the entire program. So here we go. Just as a demonstration, I click the delete button. I say yes, let's go ahead and delete it, and the entire program is gone. So I just hit the undo button to bring it right back there. So then we have the star button here. This is just, it allows you to select a preset, it allows you to save a preset, share a preset, so you can get into your presets all through that star button. Then we have the easy setup here. So this is going to do your sunrise, sunset, which we'll get into later. And then we have the lunar mode here and acclimation mode up in that moonlight corner. We will get into both of those later as well. So let's talk about updating your device. If you need to update your device on the myAI app, What you're going to do is on this main screen here, you're going to click the little settings button down there in the lower right. That's going to take you to this page. You're going to choose your device. After you choose your device, you're going to pop over to this page and you're going to click that update button. And you're going to get this screen that pops up and you are going to choose update. So here it is, just kind of walking you through it. So we click our settings button. We go to this page where we're going to choose our device. So we choose our device. It goes to the update page. I will choose update. I will get that warning on the screen. I will click update. And then it's going to start running the update as you see there. Once the update's done, you're going to get this on the screen. You're going to click update complete. You're going to say OK. And so once you do click that update, OK, so here we go. We clicked OK. It finishes up. We'll use our back button and go back to the main screen. Once we're back at the main screen, I'll choose my lighting and go back to my lighting program. If I want to download a program, say there's a program you want to download, like my Salty Pops program from Facebook, or somebody sent it to you in email or whatever the case may be, you will choose it there. You're going to get a bunch of this code. You're going to choose that drop down by the file name. After you choose that drop down, you're going to get the upload button there. You're going to click that. It's going to give you the options of places to upload it. You're going to choose the myAI app, and it will go to the myAI app. Once you get to the myAI app, you will then choose your lighting. So this is what the standard lighting was. I'm going to select a preset. And then it's going to pop up, and I'm going to select my preset. It's going to give me the options of what to select. I'm going to choose the program I just downloaded, Salty Pops. Once I choose that program, it's going to give me this little warning that says, hey, would you like to overwrite the current settings? I'm going to say yes, because that will put this program into play. So here it is. Once I put the program into play, it pops back to this screen, and this is now the program. The light is running. All right, so if you want to save a setting, this is pretty easy. Again, you click that little star. These options come up. You click that save button. Once you click that save button, it's going to pop up and tell you to, hey, name it. So you're going to get this naming option. You're going to type in a name. I just typed it in name. Click OK. And then you pop into this screen where you can see your new program. There it is. You can then select that program. Now to select a preset, so you've just named it, you've put it into your saved programs. We will click that star. We're going to select. You're going to hit the select button. And then once you hit the select button, it's going to take you back to your list of presets. So now I want to run the Salty Pops. I'm going to click Salty Pops, click yes, override my current system, my current program, and it's going to put Salty Pops into play. All right, to program in a sunrise and sunset, there's a couple ways to do it. The first way is the way I did it. At 10 a.m., my points are 0, and at 11 a.m. is my first programmed point. So my light starts at 10 a.m. and ramps up to my 11 a.m. point. So I give myself an hour of sunrise, and I do the same thing on the other side for an hour of sunset. The other way is using the app. You can click that easy setup. Please ensure that you do this prior to building your program, or you're going to mess up your program. This should be the start and stop time. So once you click that easy setup, you're going to click on the sunrise. You are then going to choose your sunrise time. You're going to click done. You're going to click on the sunset. You're then going to choose your sunset time and click done. You are then going to choose your ramp time. So how long do you want it to ramp up? I chose an hour, so I'm going to click on my ramp time. You can choose an hour. You can make it longer than an hour. Whatever you choose, then you're going to click done. then you'll click Done again in that top corner to bring it into the program. So here it is with me doing it, watching screen record. I do want to throw out again, this needs to be done at the start of the build of your program. If you pull an existing program over and then try to add this to it, you'll end up wiping out the program because this will be your new start and stop time. It'll be your new settings. So this needs to be done prior to building your own program. Most programs you download are going to have something already built into it. All right, so let's talk about adding in a lunar effect. So the very first thing you need to do is you're going to need to put in points where you want your moonlight to run. So you see I clicked a point there. I'm adding my moonlight at 20% at 11 p.m. Then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to say my moonlight's going to stop at 8 a.m. and I'm going to put 20%. So I could just leave it and it would run 20% moonlight all night. Or I can go in and add the lunar effect. So you see there, it's the 20% moonlight that I added. So if I want to go ahead and add the lunar effect, I would click that moon up in the top corner there. I'm going to click on the lunar. Right now it's disabled. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It's going to change to waxing crescent or whatever moon sequence it changes to. What it's going to do is run a moon sequence. So then we'll click the back button there. And then your lunar effect is all up and going. So here it is in motion. If we use this effect, it will go through all the settings and changings of the moon instead of just one flat moonlight setting for the entire time. This will help it vary, what makes it more natural. All right, so let's look at Acclimation Mode. When we're running Acclimation Mode, we would click that moon in the upper right corner. We would click Acclimation Mode. That Acclimation Mode is going to pop up to this screen. We're going to turn it on. When we turn it on, it's going to give us an option to choose our period. So however many days. The standard it popped up with is 30 days. I like 30 days, so I'm just going to click that arrow button to confirm 30 days. And then on this slide, I can slide for my intensity on what intensity I want to start at. So let's look at that here in motion. I clicked that button, turned it on. I'm choosing my 30 days. Then I'm going to choose my start intensity, make it whatever I want it to be. And then once I get it to that intensity, it will run, start at 70%, and it will run for 30 days until it ramps up to 100%. All right, so let's look at adjusting a preset. So say you've downloaded a preset that you wanted to run your light, but you want to make a few modifications. Say you wanted to drag a point to a different location. You didn't like where that point was. You can make these few simple modifications by just dragging the points around very easily. Simply put your finger on it and drag the point. You can drag that point wherever you want and just make minor modifications like that. We can also adjust using the 2-finger slide method. This will adjust time. So what we would do is, say you downloaded this preset and you want to run at a different time. You put 2 fingers on the screen and you can just slide the entire preset. None of the settings will change. None of the intensities will change. The only thing that will change will be your start and stop time of the program. So once you get it to a time frame that you want, then of course you want to make sure and go ahead and save that preset so all your changes save. So we'll go ahead and click that star, click that save button. We're going to name it new time. You can see it's adjusted from the previous one, and then I will select it, override my system, and here we go. Now it's selected. You can do the same 2-finger slide for intensity. However, I do have a note after this around my concerns on this. So if you want to do 2-finger slide for intensity, you put your 2 fingers on the screen, you can move up and down, and it changes that intensity of the program. So once you select it to the intensity that you want, you would then, of course, need to save it. So you would click that star button. You're going to click Save the Preset. You are going to name it whatever you want to name it. And then once you type in the name, you'll click OK. There's your preset. You will click on your new preset and you will overwrite the current settings, so then it will be up and loaded. All right, so here's my issue with the 2-finger slide for intensity. We're going to use these 2 points as an example. So we take 12:30 p.m. on the standard program, and we're going to take 12:30 p.m. on a reduced program. So I just kind of put those points into a Excel sheet here. So UV at 60 for standard, if I wanted a 30% reduction, it would drop to 42. However, if I use the 2-finger slide and drop it to 42, it does show a 30% reduction for the UV. However, when you look at the violet, it's a 30.56% reduction. When you look at the royal blue, it's a 9.65% reduction. And when you look at the blue, it's a 14.81% reduction. If I were to look at a 30% reduction across the board, and I typed in for each one of those 42, 50, 80, 76, you can see that in the second column. That's a true 30% reduction. It would reduce each of those spectrums by 30%. However, when I use the 2-finger slide, when I get the one spectrum to 30% reduction, the other spectrums do not align and they are at different percent reductions. This does kind of change the overall program that has been built. It's not an even 30% reduction. It is 30% on one and varied on the other, so the spectrum does change a bit. So this is why I don't like using the drag for intensity. I would rather just do the math and change the points myself. All right, so let's talk through building a new program from scratch. So we're going to build the Salty Pops program here. So when you first load up your light, this is what the standard's going to be. It's going to be 60% on all those marks across the board. As you can see, as I'm going from button to button there, it's showing 60% across the board, and it's just running that straight on every light spectrum across the board for the standard of what it loads up. That's not what we want, so we're going to delete that, and then we're going to start our custom build. So for the Salty Pops program, I started at 10 a.m. and at 10 a.m. I added my first point. And for me, my first point was all zeros. I didn't use the sunrise sunset function, so I just built the sunrise right into my program, which is why I started with all zeros. So 10 a.m., here we are, all zeros. Then we're going to move forward to 11 a.m. And at 11 a.m., I'm going to put in my first programmed point of where I want my sunrise to peak at or end at. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. You can see I'm ramping up the UV, the violet, the royal, and the blue. And that's what I used for my first point. Now I wanted to hold that constant until 12:30, so I put my marker at 12:30, and then I went back in and adjusted these to be at the same rate as my, or the same setting as my 11 o'clock point. So 11 to 12:30 we held constant with the UV, violet, the royal blue, and the blue. And then we are going to save that point. And then for my daylight function, I went out to 1:30. I gave it a 1 hour ramp time to ramp out of that morning blue and into the midday daylight. So I added my end point of what I want my daylight to look like. And you'll see when it goes back in there, after I add my spectrum here for my first point of daylight. You're going to see all the blue, the UV, the violet, the royal blue, and the blue ramp down from 12:30 to 1:30. But you're going to see the cool white, the green, and the red ramp up from 12:30 to 1:30 because at 12:30 those were 0 and now they're not. So then I come out to my next point, and I am holding that daylight for that amount of time. So I am changing all my settings for every light color to what I had my daylight at 12:30, and I'm going to put all my settings right back there because I'm going to hold a constant for my daylight period. So once I get these all set, I will then save that setting, and that'll be my daylight period. So there we go, and then my next one is going to ramp to my evening blue. So I went out 1 hour from 6:30 to 7:30, and I'm going to adjust my UV violet, royal blue, and blue back to the exact same number that I had my morning blue at, because I'm going to go back to that blue setting for my evening blue. And I'm going to put all of the green, red, and cool white back to 0, just like I had it in the morning. And then I'll save that. Then I'm going to go out to 9 p.m. and I'm going to put those exact numbers back in again because I want to hold my evening blue for that amount of time. For that hour and a half, I'm going to hold that evening blue. So I'm going to change all those back to what I had it for another constant. I'll save that. And then I'm going to jump out to 10 p.m. and I'm going to put everything at 0. And that is my sunset. Again, I'm not using the automated feature. I am just programming in the sunrise and sunset myself. So from 9 to 10, it ramps down itself to the sunset. So then, of course, we need to save this. So it is a selectable program. Hopefully you got a lot out of this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, check out some more of my content, check out my other videos on the Salty Pops light schedule, and I'll get more out soon. Thanks, guys.